In this episode, we speak with Veli Ivanova, the EY America's Chief Sustainability Officer and the Global Strategy and Markets Leader for EY's Climate Change and Sustainability Services practice. Veli is a recognized sustainability expert with over 25 years of international experience in helping multinational corporations across energy, manufacturing, retail, consumer goods, and pharmaceuticals develop and execute sustainability strategies. Veli was recognized as one of the top 25 sustainability consultants and leaders for 2024. EY operates in more than 150 countries, delivering a broad range of services spanning assurance, consulting, tax, strategy, and transactions, backed by deep sector knowledge and a global network of ecosystem collaborators. I'm your host, RJ Lumba. We hope you enjoy the show. If you like the episode, click to follow.
RJ Lumba is the Executive Chairman of Market Insight Media and Managing Partner of GrowthCap. He is the host of Top Consultant, a podcast featuring today's best consultants who advise and provide services to corporations, governments, nonprofits, and other organizations. Executives and key decision makers tune in to Top Consultant to identify the most knowledgeable and experienced consultants for their most important projects.
Veli, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. It's a delight to be with you.
My pleasure.
So I thought where we could start is you have a deep background in environmental studies or environmental stewardship, and it started with your education, which I think is a very unique thing. You had, higher levels of education, master's and PhD, and this will help set the stage for the rest of our conversation. But maybe take us back to what initially drew you in to studying the environment.
I'll actually go even further back in my life. In fifth grade, I had that amazing biology teacher. So he was so phenomenal explaining how ecosystems work, how nature is connected with humankind. I got so inspired. So in fifth grade, I knew I wanted to do biology as my major in university. I was lucky enough to get into the University of Sofia, one of the largest and most prominent universities in Bulgaria. I'm originally from Bulgaria, and I did a bachelor's in biology and then master's in ecology. Really having the opportunity to learn more how ecosystems work together, how they connect, how we play part of ecosystems. And then I had the opportunity to actually do a master's in environmental pollution and control in the University of Manchester, sponsored by Open Society and the British government. And then I had also the opportunity to extend my master's into a PhD in environmental biology. And really the story here is I've always been fascinated by the microorganisms, by how ecosystems work and how we are part of nature. And that kept me for quite a while back at university. I really, really enjoyed it. The University of Manchester is obviously a phenomenal higher education institution in the UK. I had the opportunity to work with some really, really great teachers, educators, as well as researchers. And I did some fascinating work related to mining polluted waters. And then after about 10 years in university, I decided it was time to go back to the real life.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's, many years, decades of experience that you've had dealing with maybe client issues in the environment. There's a lot of ground to cover, but maybe let's fast forward for time being to today and what you think is the most pressing matter for the corporations you deal with, understanding that it's typically specific to each corporation, each sector. But if there's maybe one pervasive theme that you could highlight, we can kick off this conversation.
So I've been in sustainability consulting now for 25 years. I've been privileged enough to be one of those first professionals who moved from environmental consulting into sustainability consulting, really connecting the environmental side with social issues, with human impacts and dependencies, as well as the business issues. And I think really that's the biggest, I would say, differentiator in my work, that I really focus on integrating environmental, social, and business issues in sound strategy strategies for our clients around business growth, about opportunities to make impacts in the communities where they work, while also minimizing their impacts on the environment. And it's fascinating to see how each sector has very specific sustainability issues associated with their business. But also, they all share common challenges. When you think about the impacts of physical climate change on assets, that's common across sectors. And again, helping clients define these impacts, helping them prepare for these impacts and mitigate these impacts, whether you're in healthcare and operate hospitals, or whether you're an oil and gas company with assets across the US and to that point across the world, or whether you're a higher education institution or pharmaceutical company. All of these clients obviously have really, operate in an environment of very acute climate risks. So that's something that we help our clients a lot mitigate, identify, mitigate, quantify risks of climate change, for example, their physical assets. We also work with clients, helping them identify, mitigate the risks in their supply chains, whether that's human rights issues, whether it's, again, issues related to resiliency. So although, again, each sector has very specific issues and very specific themes and material impacts, we also see a number of overarching issues that most of our clients across sectors are dealing with. And that's, again, I think that's the beauty of being in sustainability consulting for so long. When I talk to a client from financial services, I bring my experience in oil and gas and power and utilities in mining. And to them, that's very valuable because some of their biggest issues are around decarbonization of their portfolios, financing some of these heavier sectors. So they're very interested in that experience and that sector knowledge that I bring. When I work with clients from the pharmaceutical industry, for example, it's really interesting to talk about the business challenges associated with access to medication or equality and access to different products. So again, the connection between social and environmental issues, but deeply, deeply connecting them to the business challenges and opportunities for our clients, I think it's a differentiator in our work.
Mm-hmm. I'm interested in two sectors you mentioned because they're in proximity to where I am. I'm in the New York area. I live in Princeton. I'm recording out of Princeton today, and there's a lot of pharma companies around here. And it seems like you touch on different parts of the business, not just environmental, also social, and maybe some business strategy. But is there kind of an example, say, in the other sector is financial services, because I'm close to New York. But is there something in pharma that you found is kind of a common thing that a lot of these companies maybe need help on?
Actually, I think, the pharma companies, particularly the US pharma companies, as well as the companies that are in life sciences in Europe as well, are quite advanced in their thinking, quantifying of their impacts, addressing their sustainability impacts. They have industry collaborations, such as Together for Sustainability, for example, really trying again to address the challenges and issues at the sector level. They share the same suppliers. In many cases, they share the same clients. So again, while most of them have quite sophisticated plans around, for example, addressing climate challenges and risks, most of them have quite ambitious climate-related goals. They have obviously programs around water stewardship. Really, the biggest impacts they have, the most material impacts they have, are related to healthcare, to their products, the distribution and access to their products, and then the connection again between the environmental and social challenges. We all live in a world of increasing temperatures, while also we have aging populations. So some of the big challenges that they're facing, for example, are providing access to medication and healthcare to the aging population around the world, while that population is actually impacted by climate change around the world as well. So very, very specific challenges and topics, but luckily, at least the clients that I work from that space are quite advanced in their thinking, in their goals, in their collaboration across the sector.
From that description, if they're already kind of doing pretty well, then maybe bringing in EY to further advise would be incremental changes.
It depends again on how it's defined pretty well. Because when you think about it, we are operating in a world that is very quickly evolving around us. We are already on the brink of the hottest year on record. Each year is the hottest year on record, and that's what we saw last year, for example. So it's not just the physical environment that's changing very quickly. Demographics are changing, geopolitics are changing, and all of that obviously has impacts on operations, on production, on supply chain. It has impacts on how these companies distribute their products, for example. So we are very constantly working with companies across sectors to rethink their business strategy and use sustainability as a driver for growth, for success, for more impactful growth, I would say. So when you think again, about the way that, for example, companies from the consumer sector are growing, really they focus on there's research and development innovation of their products, appealing to new generations, having the opportunity again to use new materials, produce less waste. So that's each sector again has very specific opportunities as well as challenges. But when you think again on the cross-sector collaboration, I think that's something that we need to be very focused on as well, because none of us can make significant impact by ourselves, including ourselves at EY. We're very focused on our purpose, our values, and how we continue to grow, how we continue to attract, retain, and train the future of consulting in general, the industry. So really, having the opportunity to find our role and impact across the value chain of organizations we work with, organizations we service, as well as the organizations we collaborate with, I think it's truly important because we all have a significant role to play. I think, again, that cross-sector perspective on sustainability issues is the next frontier for us to solve and collaborate on because we all have a role to play.
Now, touching on the other sector I mentioned, financial services, from an outsider's perspective, obviously I'm not a specialist in sustainability, but I would think the increasing use of machine learning AI is drawing on a lot of power needs. And so maybe this is affecting data center construction and how that's impacting the environment. Is there something specific you could tell us about how EY brings its services around sustainability to the financial services sector?
Our services are much broader, so we focus on everything. Again, as I mentioned, the example of decarbonization of financial portfolios, for example, to helping companies with assessing and quantifying and, again, addressing the human rights, for example, in their supply chains. We all have that challenge, particularly with the upcoming regulations in Europe. I would say AI is a topic by itself where I think a lot of people are focused on two aspects. One aspect is the environmental aspect and the energy required for data centers to support AI. And the other aspect is responsible AI. That's just scratching the surface, in my opinion. We need to be really a lot more creative in our thinking how AI will change all of our jobs. So the jobs in professional services, the jobs in banking, insurance, other financial institutions. And that's really beyond the aspects of environmental, again, impacts related to energy. I think it's beyond the aspects of, changing the way we work. It's more about how we are able to create the future of humanity through AI in a very creative way. And that could be completely new services, completely new ways of engaging with our clients, particularly related to professional services and financial services. How we think about not only productivity of the workforce, but also, the areas where we're going to focus going forward compared to how we spend our time right now.
Mm-hmm. Is there an example maybe in recent years where you and your team at EY were able to really help a client in certain sustainability matters?
Oh my God, that's my daily life. That's what we do on a daily basis. So our team in EY globally is actually over 4,500 people, fully dedicated to sustainability. And I think, not many people realize that we probably have the largest sustainability practice in professional services in EY. And we obviously do work related to reporting and disclosure, as you would expect from Big Four, including assurance services. But our team is actually a team of engineers, scientists, lawyers, people with background in social studies. So we touch every aspect of sustainability for our clients, whether it's, for example, helping them identify their dependencies and impacts on nature and biodiversity, whether we're working with them around water stewardship initiatives. We have a large team focused on circular economy, again, helping clients identify new sources of materials, new opportunities to think about the whole process that they have for production, manufacturing, and then disposing waste in creative and innovative ways. We have people focused on the topic of digital. Obviously, in sustainability, for us to be able to make meaningful progress forward, we need to have reliable, objective data, not only for reporting and disclosure, which is the big topic these days, but also related very much to performance improvement. So we have a large digital team. I've been privileged to work with my teams on all of these aspects that I'm describing. And I think, again, some of the most impactful work that I've personally done is related to sustainability strategy, really helping clients embed sustainability in their business strategies, embed sustainability in their overall growth plans, strategic planning, thinking as sustainability as a driver for growth, but also as a mechanism to rethink, redesign, and innovate in their products.
And when one thinks about the environment, sustainability, and business, what comes to mind is the manufacturing sector or industrials. They're heavy users of natural resources. What would you highlight related to those sectors where E&Y has played a distinct role?
I would say, again, helping them rethink their processes, both from manufacturing, from research and design, from product design. So really, again, not just focusing on minimizing resources, but creating innovative ways of, again, manufacturing, design, research, and helping clients rethink how sustainability can be the driver for growth and changes and transformation in their overall business processes. I would say definitely some of the work that we've done around supply chain resiliency. I think it's really important for that sector because, again, they have very complex global supply chains where there are numerous issues related, again, not only to resiliency, but beyond resiliency, I would say innovation and opportunities for transformation as well. So, again, I've been in this space for a very long time, so I've been very privileged to work with a number of Fortune 500 companies. And I would say our team is more and more focused on the sector expertise because we believe that that really brings value to our clients. Having the basic sustainability expertise, whether it's, again, environmental, social, combined together, business expertise, knowledge of reporting, assurance, disclosure, digital platforms. I think, again, when we add to all of that, those skills and experience of our team, the deep sector knowledge that we now have. EY is going through a major sectorization where we're all being a lot more focused on specific sectors and industries, brings a lot of value to our clients. Whether it's, again, just the knowledge of what their peer companies are doing, whether it's, again, connecting our clients with their peers and their competitors or their other organizations from the sector, we see that as part of our role, convening our clients at the sector level, helping them address issues through collaboration, helping them think about collaboration from any aspect of their business. Again, we're dealing with a lot of challenges right now from a reporting and disclosure perspective, from supply chain perspective, really having, again, that sector expertise, peer knowledge, and best practices that can help our clients at the sector level is something that we are really focused on as a way to bring value.
We're heading into the tail end of the conversation. I have two final questions. One is, can you tell us about a person who has had a profound influence on you?
I've been privileged to work with under female CEOs in my career. Before joining EY, I worked at a company called CH2M Hill. We had a very influential female CEO there. I really admired her. Now at EY, we have our first female global CEO, as well as we've already had two female CEOs at the Americas level, at the Americas partnership, US partnership. So learning from these very strong and powerful female CEOs has been very inspirational for me. Seeing how they balance, again, family and personal life with their professional commitments, see how they act with empathy and how they really build upon the talent that we have, in particular here in EY, has been a great learning experience for me.
Last question. Can you tell us about a charity, cause, or other endeavor that you're passionate about?
I'm very passionate about nature. As you can guess, I've spent my whole career around that. So I'm involved with several botanic gardens, and I really donate my time, again, contributions to botanic gardens around the world. And I feel very lucky to have that opportunity, because I feel botanic gardens around the world are not only places where we can go and enjoy nature, but we connect as human beings, and all the different aspects of the activities at botanic gardens are something that I enjoy very much, whether it's concerts, whether it's yoga, or whether it's just connecting with other human beings in the setting of the botanic gardens is something that deeply inspires me.
Excellent. Well, Veli, I want to thank you again for taking the time to chat with us today. It's been a wonderful conversation.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.